checks and communications checks. Both pilot and Commander Reed Wiseman and pilot Victor Glover were able to get into their seats. And again, they are now reconfiguring the cabin and taking down the portions of the seats that they had added to help with this task. The crew will soon be moving into their midday meal period. And then later this afternoon, having the OTC 3 burn, that's Outbound Trajectory Correction 3. We did cancel OTCs 1 and 2. These small outbound trajectory correction burns help keep us on the proper trajectory for our lunar flyby and our return to Earth. The team does intend to execute today's flyby or outbound trajectory correction 3 burn. These are small burns using the reaction control system thrusters on Orion.
after the LOS.
Integrity Crew, Houston, we have a couple of items to discuss with you again before this LOS.
Go ahead.
Hey, Christina, a couple of vehicle things for you to start. First of all, we want you to be aware that we need to increase the fan speed higher because our cabin pressure is lower. We're trying to get that cleaned up this afternoon, but we're not quite there yet. So more on that later. We also have a crew procedure that we will need you to execute, and it is the suit DOF vehicle config procedure, which is 22.2.102. This is steps 1 through 7 to get the vehicle back in a good config following being suited. We need you to stop the HHP camera feed, please. We do not see it, but we need to stop it for bandwidth reasons. We want to tell Reed that his PCD1 is go for email use. We also can tell you that we have good targets on board for OTC3. It's looking like a 10.1 foot per second burn. And then finally, your flight director will be ready to speak with you for Reed's flight director conference coming up shortly.
Okay, Jenny, copy the fan speed thing, but no action for us on that. Suit DOF vehicle config, steps 1 through 7. We will stop the HHP camera stream. Reed is go for, actually that's complete. Reed is go for email on his PCD1, and we'll be ready to talk to Jeff. We understand we will be suit drying per the suit DOF procedure as well. Please confirm.
Affirm, that is a good readback on all, and we agree on the suit procedure. Thank you, Christina.
Can you still hear me okay? Great.
This is Artemis Mission Control here with an MET 4 days, 1 hour and 24 minutes into the Artemis 2 flight. The crew has wrapped up their Ox suit demo, that was the Orion Crew Survival System suit demonstration, and are moving into their midday meal time frame. Later today, we'll have the OTC 3 burn, that's the Outbound Trajectory Correction 3 burn. This is scheduled for 10:03 p.m. Central Time, and we are now expecting this to be a 10.1 foot per second burn. I'm joined today by Ox Project Lead, Dustin Gomert. Dustin, thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So this is, tell me about your role.
Well, I'm the Ox Project Manager, System Manager, whatever role you need me to be, but I kind of have them all. And so our team is in charge of the Ox, the Orion Crew Survival System suits that are on Artemis 2 right now.
And we saw a test of those today. So can you tell me about those Orion Crew Survival System suits, Ox suits? We have called them both things all day long. Can you tell me about those and what makes them unique?
Well, the thing that makes them different than anything we've done before is their long duration survival capability. And so these suits were very specifically designed such that if something were to happen to the crew en route to the moon or while in lunar orbit, they could survive in them for up to 6 days. And so it's a pretty unique capability to have that where your environment, your home, your personal atmosphere is just bigger than your body, and they still provide the functions for you to keep being human and doing all the things you need as a human while in this environment.
And today was not the first time that this crew has suited up. Obviously, they wore these on launch day, but what other kind of tests were run here on the ground in these suits, either with or without the crew?
Quite a few. So we spent a good I would say almost 2 years doing certification testing of this, and the better part of a decade in design and tweaks of them to get to the point we are today. And the crew, have spent almost 2 years training in the suits. They get custom fit for each one. Every person is measured, every joint of their body down to even individual finger segments almost are measured for the crew. And so we have them very finely tuned and finely trained for activities that they would do in these suits. The thing we can't do in these suits on the ground is truly understand how they behave in microgravity. And that was one of the things we were after here today.
Yeah, what about microgravity makes it easier or more difficult in some ways to test these suits, or even just being in the Orion capsule? Oh, 1 minute as we're hearing some comms from the crew.
From around an hour-long forward LOS. No response required.
And we are expecting a loss of signal with the Orion crew. And I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but as we were saying, being in the Orion cabin and in being in microgravity can make things more or less difficult in these suits. So what are some of those fine difficulties?
Well, in all honesty, that was some of the things we were looking to learn today. The key difference from what we can test on the ground is that no matter what we do here, you have gravity biasing you. And so even if we were to go, say, to the neutral buoyancy lab and weigh out the suit so it was effectively weightless, the body inside is still weighing down with gravity. And so that will naturally shift you in one direction or the other inside the suit. Maybe your head goes up or head goes down, or you go forward or you go back. On ground, we test them in every possible axis. We turn them on their belly, on their back, on their side, and we try to get every possible fitment. At the end of the day, you still don't fully know. And so this test, one of the things we're looking to get out of it is how do you truly fit inside that suit as we predicted in microgravity to give us that confirmation. You know, do your elbow joint still align? Does your wrist joint still align? Does your head still fit in the right position that allows you to do all the motions that they've been trained to do? And so we're looking forward to following up with the crew after this test to learn a little bit about what they experienced and take those notes and help refine it for the next missions.
Well, it was very interesting to see them in the cabin, suited up today, and of course we'll see this again for Splashdown Day. So thank you so much for joining us, Dustin. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is Artemis Mission Control at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. You're looking at a visualization of Orion and its current configuration as it flies toward the moon. We are now just 48,722 miles away from the moon and 226,700 miles away from Earth. You can track Artemis and track Orion for yourself at any time by visiting nasa.gov/trackartemis. Tomorrow is a big day for the mission as we will have the lunar flyby with about 6 hours for the crew to be taking photos, making observations and annotations of what they see as they pass the moon. The first humans to do so in over 50 years. Of course, we'll be live for it all, so we look forward to you joining us. One of those milestones that we'll see is them surpassing the greatest distance ever achieved by humans. That was set by the Apollo 13 crew. We expect that to occur in 17 hours and 38 minutes, so don't miss it. We are currently in a forward link LOS, or loss of signal, with the crew. These are tracked as we fly this mission. We are using the Deep Space Network at this time. They are far enough away from the Earth that we need to rely on this network rather than our usual tracking data relay satellite systems that you see us use with the International Space Station. But we are aware and track all of these moments when we are loss of signal with the crew. However, we still have data from them. So if they needed to, they could call down to us here in Mission Control. And we expect to get that forward link acquisition of signal back in about 37 minutes. The crew is currently in their midday meal. They previously executed the Orion Crew Survival System demonstration. This involved all crew members getting in those orange suits you saw them in during the launch. This is also what they'll wear during their return to Earth. Those suits could help them survive a depressurization event in the event that were to occur on the spacecraft. Of course, today was just a test, but that would give them a breathing environment for about 6 days. At 10:03 p.m. Central Time, we are expecting the outbound trajectory correction burn 3. We did cancel the first of these 2 trajectory correction burns. These are small maneuvers using the reaction control system thrusters on the spacecraft that help us fine-tune our trajectory around the moon and on our way back home to Earth. The team will execute the OTC-3 burn tonight. We expect that to be a 10.1 foot per second burn.